Well, welcome to the Agent Revenue Machine podcast. My name is Steve Earle. I'm excited for you to be here with us today. Looking forward to a great conversation with our guest, Kevin Clayson. He is kind of the marketing genius for me and the DFY Real Estate team. He's been doing it for many, many years. You heard from him last week. And what I'm excited about for the next several months, actually, Kevin is going to be coming and sharing his expertise, his wisdom, his good judgment as far as real estate agent marketing goes. And we'll share, some stories, some information, and kind of this framework that you've put together for us and for our team, right?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you being here today, taking the time to talk to me and to talk to my friends who are listening and watching today. And so, maybe let's just start off again. I know you shared your story with us last week, which I appreciate. Anything fun going on in your life right now that you can kind of share with us, and then we'll kind of just jump in?
I'm going to go see a movie with my wife tonight. That's going to be the highlight of the week. Yeah.
You know what? Done. Let's run.
No, honestly, there is so much stuff I'm working on right now that I'm super duper pumped about. There's a ton of stuff that we're delivering inside of the Agent Revenue Machine and inside of the Investors Agent Academy. There's a ton of stuff we're working on the DFY side that's getting super exciting. So I am just kind of like at that point in my life where I feel like I'm bursting with possibility and hope because there's so much good on the horizon. So yeah, it's awesome.
So before we start, let me just kind of preface what you're going to be saying with this. In today's real estate market, in today's world, in today's economy, like agents are kind of suffering, they're kind of hurting quite a lot. Like what you're going to share with us today, like, does it work in today's market?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it better work in today's market, because if it doesn't work in today's market, we're not in business either. Because what we're going to talk about over the next few weeks or months or today, it's all absolutely the stuff that we are doing day in and day out in order to take what could be kind of a trash economy and still find people that are willing to transact real estate. And so it 100% works, not just in this economy, but literally any economy. Because here's the thing with marketing. Marketing will change over time, but the principles behind marketing won't change, right? So here, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. For a while, email marketing was really popular, right? Everybody was doing email marketing. Then all of a sudden, nobody was doing email marketing. And it was all about, the next big thing. It was all about, sales letters, video sales letters. And now video sales letters are kind of working, but maybe they aren't as popular as email, which is sort of like coming back into play. But then with email, there's all kinds of stuff you have to consider, and how do you nurture your list and how often do you send to the list? And so there's various, like there used to be a marketing guru that I was a big fan of who would email his list every single day with something that they didn't really care about, and the open rate wasn't that good. So he shifted to still emailing every day, but emailing a newsletter that had more valuable content. And so marketing, what you do in marketing may change from time to time, but the principles that we'll talk about and sort of the system that we've developed and that we implement, that will always be in place.
So before you dive in and start sharing the framework and kind of the initial overview, I'll just say from the real estate side of things, because that's my role in our partnership, the marketing's working. I mean, we closed well over 200, real estate investment transactions last year, and we continue on pace to actually beat that this year. And I always find it interesting. Every Tuesday we have a meeting with our whole little team here that does the whole thing. And it was interesting this last week. You're like, our open rate for our fastball,
our newsletter,
effectively is like 70%.
It was like 80%,
80%, and that's very consistent.
Yeah,
and
that's incredible in the industry. Like that's like,
and it's because you're very strategic about when and what you send.
Correct.
Right? You're not just constantly like killing our list.
Correct.
Like you're being very strategic about it. And that's part of the framework that you'll be sharing. And maybe on a weekly basis we can share some of the results that we're having
to
help provide some some validation to some of
Yeah.
these things that you're going to share with us.
Well, here's the other thing that is interesting about the marketing that we're doing and the fact that it's working is, you know this about me and you agree completely, which is why we do it this way. There's one thing that a lot of marketers and that a lot of even, I don't know, call them real estate gurus do that are sort of successful marketers that we do not do. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Everybody lean in close. Okay. This is the one thing you shouldn't do in marketing, but most people do it. You ready? They lie.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, here's the thing. You look at people that appear to be great marketers, and especially in our real estate space, sometimes those great marketers are great marketers, not because their marketing content is good. It's because they are lying to their audience, and their churn and their burn rate is unbelievable. Whereas us, we don't have a churn and burn rate. We have an acquisition rate, and then we have clients that just keep doing real estate with us year after year after year. Last week, I had a phone call with a client of ours, on the Done For You real estate side, and she's literally been doing real estate with you and with your team, with our team for like over a decade. And she's talking and she's like, she's literally telling me the reason, Kevin, we're having this conversation, she actually had some marketing questions about next steps for her. She's like, the reason we're having this conversation is because what we've been able to accomplish with real estate has literally set us up to where we don't need money. We're completely financially free. We're independent. And so now I have time and I want to know how to allocate that time to serve more people. So we're talking about marketing, but that's insane to me. Usually marketers that are lying, they're acquiring clients. Maybe they're even getting a transaction or two, but then they aren't getting repeat transactions. And the amount of work and effort that they have to pour into their marketing, it's not a system that they have. They have a flash in the pan and then it's gone. And we've never taken that approach. And we take a little bit more of a micro winning approach, like stacking micro wins and realizing that there's a compound effect over time. If you treat your audience the right way, you treat the people that are coming to your world the right way, they stick around. And then you have conversion rates that extend years and years and years from now, as opposed to just, I put out a thing, I lied, I said something cool about some number or some statistic, and I got a bunch of success, and now I have to go acquire a whole new batch of clients. And so that to me is one of the things I take a lot of pride in the system that we'll be talking about. It's a system that doesn't lie, it tells the truth, and it changes people's lives when they go and utilize real estate for their personal life. It's just awesome. And that's what increases transactions.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that you and I have talked a lot about in length over, the last several years is, we probably could have run more quickly and bigger, if we were willing to say certain things. And we just decided to attract the right type of client, the person who isn't looking for riches overnight. They're looking to build wealth over time. And we were true to our messaging. Our messaging actually reflects what we do.
Correct.
And a lot of times those two things don't line up.
Absolutely.
In our industry. Quite a bit. And so it's one of those things where, you get to sleep well at night. We talk a lot about a sleep well at night account, which is, your reserves for real estate. And I kind of look at it as exactly the same thing in marketing. The way we market is our sleep well at night account, where we get to be in integrity with what we say and what we deliver. And what's really cool is that over time, it's the exact same thing that we're telling our clients. We haven't gotten rich overnight. It's this wealth building. It's this business building. It's this client accumulation over time as we tell the right message and help people do exactly what it is that we say they're going to, most likely experience, right? And so that's the key. And it's really, again, I say this phrase all the time. It's really fun to be in business. Like business is one of my number one passions in life.
Yeah.
Real estate is another one of those, and I've had the opportunity to marry those two things. But there's nothing like being in business and in real estate and knowing that you're really, having a significant and long-term impact on the lives of many people.
The other thing that I think is kind of cool about that is, like, when I meet somebody that I don't know, I can, in full faith and good mojo, say, "Oh, you should check out our website because so just as an example, so you know this story. My wife and I were in Puerto Vallarta, and we're in the hot tub, and we talked to this other super cool couple, and we started to talk about real estate. And I said, I'm in real estate. He's like, really? I'm a real estate investor. I was like, yeah, me too. And, I actually, help other people, with this company go do real estate. He's like, really? And I could tell him, you should just go check out our website. Like I didn't have to have any emotional attachment to whether or not he came and used you for real estate services and used this team for services. I just knew that if he looked at the website and the marketing that we have and the messaging that we have and the stuff that we talk about and the numbers that are there, that he would come back and say, hey, maybe you could help me. I think he ended up buying 2 or 3 properties, that I think you guys closed on with them, I don't know, a couple years ago. And I just love that because I don't have to be embarrassed. I don't have to be like, please don't watch my Instagram because I'm saying ridiculous stuff. Like, and so the fact that we can show up and there's truth in advertising, truth in the marketing, and we're not lying and we're not overinflating and we're sometimes saying hard things that nobody wants to hear, but it's the truth. I just love that about this system and the way that we approach how we're talking to people about real estate. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, I'm excited to kind of jump into the framework and share with with our audience today the beginnings of this framework that you're going to share over the course of the next several months. And once a week, you've agreed to come on and have me interview you and have you share with us like exactly what we are doing in our business, so that others can, if they choose to, duplicate what we're doing. So the platform is yours, Kev.
So, okay, here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about marketing is it is quite literally, like sometimes we call it the lifeblood, right? Like it's the lifeblood of the business. But another way that I like to think of it, also because it serves my purposes for a term I'm about to throw out, but every one of you out there listening wants your business to catch on fire in the best possible way, right? You want it to blow up. You want it to go. You want it to move. You want this thing to light up and you want it to light your fire and you want it to light other people's fires. But here's the deal. Fire, if you want to fire up your business and you want your business to catch fire in the best possible way, you need kindling and you need heat. And what else do you need? You have to have air. And this marketing framework actually is kind of also the acronym for air, except there's 3 I's instead of 1, right? And so this marketing system is quite literally the air for your business. And it goes along with A, I, and R. That's what we're going to talk about. That's the framework that we're going to talk about. Sometimes we call it the $1 Million Marketing or $1 Million Agent Marketing Framework or marketing system. But it really, this is the air to the fire of your business. And it all starts with A, and A is where you attract. Now, almost every, I think, marketing person out there will tell you that you have to attract people to your cause, attract people to your business. And there's a number of things that you can do to be attractive. There's social media. There's one of the easiest ways, and one of the things that we utilize quite prolifically is we run ads to what's called a lead magnet. And a lead magnet is just something attractive that somebody may want to click on. And in order to get the thing that they want, they're going to exchange something. You're giving them something of value. They give you something of value. And that value doesn't have to be monetary. They may give you a name. They may give you a name and an email. They at least need to give you an email, right? Now, when they exchange that email for the thing that you're offering that's valuable, you've attracted someone to what you're doing, and that attraction gets them on your list. I mean, that's really what it is. Marketing can't take place unless you have a list. That is marketing 101. And I think I mentioned this the last time I was on the podcast. I had a mentor that said, always be marketing. Like, I didn't realize how critical and important marketing was, but like, you should always be building your list. And your list could be people that are moving into a CRM or a software that you have where they're opting in to get something of value from you. And then you now have them on a list so that you can market to them. What we like about getting people onto a list that you can control is that's we could call it traffic that you control. There's also traffic that you can't control, but you can still use that as a way to attract people to your business. So for example, if I had something attractive, I'll give you just a high level example. I was talking to a buddy of mine today, and we were talking about, some initiatives, and I told him, I was like, one of the things that I want to give away as a bonus when people buy our book is I want to give them something that I wrote years ago that's been really cool called The Worst Performing Investment in America. And he's like, oh, that's cool. I was like, do you want to know what it is? He's like, yeah, I really do. And what was interesting is because I just threw it out there that there's a worst performing investment in America, guess what everybody's mind wants to do? They want to know, well, what is it? What does he think it is? Whether they think they know or not, they want to know what that is. What did we do? We attracted them. We attracted their attention. Now, when we attract that attention, we then want to give them something in return. If we're not controlling the traffic, we may be putting an ad on Facebook, an ad on Instagram, an ad on Google that's saying something like, wondering what the worst performing investment in America is? Download the free resource to find out today, whatever it is. Now we've taken somebody in a pool of fishies and we hooked them with something that was attracted to them, and they make an exchange of value. They may give their email. We then give them something in return. And that's why that's step one. You have to have traffic, either that you can control after they opt in, or traffic that you don't control, but traffic that's out there that you're paying to get to your thing, where you can then turn them into traffic that you can control, right? There's this whole kind of building a list concept. We'll go a lot deeper into some of this stuff in the future, but there's a really popular podcaster, and he's a conservative podcaster, and he always tells people to please join his email list because he says, I never know what sponsors are going to do. I never know what radio stations are going to do. I never know what YouTube's going to do. YouTube could shut me down tomorrow. But if you're on my email list, I know I can reach you. And that's an important thing, right? It's a variable to some extent you can control. But once they're there, you then have to move. So that's A. The first I is inform. Now, if we use our example of the worst performing investment in America, what I would then want to do is I make an exchange of value for their email address, and I give them maybe a PDF or a video or something, a website that then outlines what the worst performing investment in America is, why it's that. And what's interesting is the worst performing investment in America is, I guarantee, not what any of you are thinking right now, like 100%. And what I just did there is a marketing technique called an open loop. And now you all want to know what it is, and I'm not going to tell you. And it's going to gnaw at your brain, and you're going to wonder what the heck I'm talking about. And that would be a good opportunity for me to say, go to such and such a website to find out. What am I doing? I'm attracting, right? And now once you come there and you exchange your email for this information that is still, I can feel it. It's rolling around in your brain. If you're listening, you're like, what is the worst performing investment in America? Especially if it's not what I think it's going to be. I would then need to inform you. And how I would inform you is I would put it into a document or a video or a website where I would then give you all of the information. Now, the inform aspect of this framework may last months. It may last years. It may last a minute. The point is, put out great content that make people feel like you know what the crap you're talking about. That's where the information comes from. People are hungry for information. And listen, if you're listening, you may be like, are they really hungry for information? Yes, it's why we all spend time on our phones constantly, and we check every single news alert that comes along, and we check sports scores, and we check Twitter or X, and we check Instagram, and we check Facebook. Even if it's stuff that doesn't matter, it's information to us, right? We're like, I want to be informed. I want to know what's going on. So we as marketers have to provide that for our list that we have attracted. Now, we could do that in a variety of ways. A podcast is a great example of a way to inform. And the idea with informing is you give without expecting much in return. Because notice, we're not going to talk, there's 5 steps to this framework. And the 4th step is where we invite somebody to actually kind of take action, right? Of some sort. So there's steps that come before that, because you have to build a relationship with people if they're going to become your customer. That's just what it is. So you can attract them, you then inform them, and you keep them informed. That could be a newsletter, that could be websites, that could be a podcast, that could be a YouTube channel, that could be social media. That could be a whole variety of things. A newsletter is a great example. That's why ours works really well, where you're constantly giving people information that they have requested that they are interested in. And when you do that over time, they are beginning to trust you. Now, I have a great mentor, wrote one of my favorite books ever called The Go-Giver, Bob Berg. And he has always said, so you need to have somebody that knows, likes, and trusts you in order to do business with you. So informing is part of that process of getting them to trust you as well as getting to know you, right? That leads us to the third step, which is impress. Now, impress is not just giving them information, but impressing them with the quality of information, right? So impressing can come also through, there's a lot, especially agents I know take advantage of this, certifications, awards, accolades, right? If you can titles, if you can go and chase those things and you could add them to your email signature, you can add them to your business card, that can be impressing. So for us, on the Done For You Real Estate side, what we've leveraged is like we made the Inc. 5000. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We've published on Forbes. We have books. We have this stuff that's like, oh, somebody got attracted to our world. We then informed them and gave them the information they were looking for. And then we continued to inform them. And now we impress them with the idea that there is more than what they thought on the surface. We have these certifications. We have these awards. We've got these titles. We've got this expertise. We have all of this that's right there. And now if we stay consistent, they become impressed. They're like, you guys are the real deal, right? Somebody comes to the DFY website and you know what happens? I hear this all the time. They go, how have I never heard about you guys before? And I go, well, that's my question too, because we're out there. But the idea is they got attracted, we then informed, and then they're looking around and they're so impressed with what we're sharing that we are slowly working them into a position where they are asking to do business with us. And that's a big difference maker right there.
Well, and one of the things that you've impressed on me is this whole idea of like, don't jump in and start telling them what you want to sell them or give them until they've raised their hand, right? And said, and that's what I think you're saying is like, do all these things, get them to raise their hand and ask us for more information to take next steps.
That's right. You want them to ask you for stuff. That's why the attract is really good. You throw something out there, they need to raise their hand and say, I'd like to be informed. And now they've raised their hand. And now that they're getting informed and now you're impressing them, their hand starts to go up again and they start to ask the question. This is my favorite question to get in marketing. My favorite question. So what are my next steps to work with you guys? Love that. And that actually brings us to the fourth step or the fourth piece of the AIR of your business, the AIIR, this $1 million agent marketing system, and that is to invite. Now, this is one that I'm very passionate about and that we can spend a lot of time on. An invitation from a marketing standpoint shouldn't just be so would you like to close a transaction with me today? That's not it. I'm a big advocate of this concept. Go for the next easiest yes. The next easiest yes is the thing that we always do. So, would you like to know what the worst performing investment in America is? It's probably not what you think. Yeah, I'd like that. Cool. Now we inform them. Now we're impressing them. And now we maybe make an invitation. Maybe the next easiest thing is like, hey, do you want to jump on a call to get more information? That's easier to say yes to than, yes, I'd like you to be my agent, right? Yeah, okay, I could jump on a call. Then we're on that call with them. The next question isn't, so would you like to hire me as your agent? It's, hey, I have some additional great information that I can send you to continue to impress you is kind of what you're thinking. Could I send you this thing and you could review it? Well, yeah, that would be fine. And after you review it, would it be okay if we got back together? Yeah, that would be fine. So all we're doing is it's a multi-step process where we are inviting them with small micro commitments that are easy to say yes to. And all of those yeses create a pattern and a trust exchange to where when the big question gets asked, hey, so I'd love to represent you. Or would you be open to that? Yeah, you've been awesome. Like now that's an easy yes for them. It's not I had to make a massive jump from I just barely met you to yes, I want you to be my agent. It's We've informed, we attracted, we informed, we impressed. Now we've invited again and again and again these next easiest yeses. And now we've made this last sort of invitation. Hey, let's work together. And then boom, we move on to R is to where you repeat the process now. And the idea, and this is critical to the way that we look at marketing, marketing does not end when you have a client. That's not when it ends. Marketing never ends. In fact, you should continue to attract, to inform, to impress, to invite, and do it over and over again because it's relationship building. And that means you have a constant supply of air to the flame of your business so it continues to burn for years and years and years. You stop running this system, you suck the air out of your business and you suffocate the flame. And then you're sitting there wondering like, well, where did all my clients go? And so that's the framework, right? Attract, inform, impress, invite, repeat, and continue to do that. And that's what we'll really dive into over the next weeks and months. There's so much inside of each of those that are worth considering. And even stuff before you get to that you as a marketer, as an agent, need to consider in order to do this effectively. And I'm excited to kind of dive into really all of it.
Yeah. Wow, Kev. So that was some really great value. I mean, just sharing, the basics of that framework is powerful. I love the idea that you're going to be diving into each of those letters of the acronym and providing additional detail. You're going to take a deep dive into each one of those. Additionally, we have coming up every month. I do a masterclass live in the month of May 23rd. I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the NAR settlement, and I'm going to be talking about something that we call the Teams fee, which is a buyer paid commission, and talking about how do we overcome some of the obstacles that might be in the way moving forward with the whole settlement thing. And really, I think that there's an opportunity ahead of us as opposed to a real challenge. In the month of June, you're going to be doing a masterclass live on this subject of marketing.
Yeah.
I know you're only going to have an hour, and literally I know that you do workshops. You do 2 and 3 day workshops.
I do. Yeah.
And some of those will be coming up in the future. And if you're interested in some of these different events that are coming up, you can go to investorsagent.com, click on the events tab, and you can see our upcoming events that are coming up. And so I'm excited in the future for your masterclass that you're going to be doing, as well as some of the workshops. So
awesome.
Thank you so much for being here, Kev.
Hey, thank you.
Look forward to next week having you on again. Everybody, thanks for being here today. I appreciate you being a part of the Agent Revenue Machine podcast. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Welcome to the Agent Revenue Machine podcast with your host, Steve Earle. Whether you are new to the industry and working hard to find your path and close your first deal, or a seasoned pro, this show is for you. My specialty niche is investment properties using the Moneyball real estate system. I'm excited to share my thoughts, insights, and experience to help you find hope, solutions, and insights to building your real estate agenting business and discovering more of the many different streams of revenue available to agents in today's real estate world. It's time to get out of the red and back into the black.